White flight or white exodus is the sudden or gradual large-scale migration of white people from areas becoming more racially or ethnoculturally diverse. In America, there have been three main reasons for the white flight, which we will explain in this video. We will start with the least controversial, economic reasons. During the 50s and beyond, when black people were able to afford homes in white suburban areas, the real estate industry, state courts, and the FHA adopted racist appraisal standards and restrictive covenant standards to keep them out. They argued that the purchase by an African American in a white neighborhood would cause the value of property to decline. There was no statistical proof for this, and the truth is because African Americans were forced to pay more than white families for comparable homes, the prices of homes would actually increase when an African American moved into the neighborhood. Regardless, because of these racist practices, real estate speculators were able to capitalize on white fears through the practice of blockbusting. Blockbusting was a scheme in which speculators bought properties in borderline black-white areas, rented or sold them to African American families at an above-market price, then persuaded white families residing in these areas that their neighborhoods were turning into African American slums and that the value would soon fall, and then after convincing them, they would purchase the panicked whites' home for less than their worth. Blockbusters would hire African American women to push carriages with their babies through white neighborhoods. They would hire African American men to drive cars with radios blasting through the white neighborhoods. And they would even pay African American men to accompany their agents on knocking on white homes to pretend like they were looking for homes. Real estate firms then sold their newly acquired properties at inflated prices to African Americans. And because most black families could not qualify for mortgages through the FHA and banks due to racist policies, these real estate companies would sell them their homes on installment plans, where the African American earn no equity in the home and where they can take the home back if one payment was missed and repeat the scam with another black family. The second reason for white flight is the idea of increased crime and overcrowding in neighborhoods with African Americans. White families believed that when black people moved into their community, crime would increase and their neighborhood would begin to deteriorate. This was a play on white fear and racism. The truth is that because of racist policies that prevented black people to get mortgages from the FHA or banks, they had to adopt more extreme measures to become homeowners. Because blacks were forced to buy on contract and then charge higher rates, they struggled to make their inflated monthly payments. Husbands and wives worked double shift, forcing them to neglect their basic maintenance. Black families had to subdivide their place to rent to tenants because they needed the extra revenue, which led to overcrowding. Essentially, because of the racist policies of the FHA and banks, this is what actually led to a self-fulfilling prophecy. The third cause for white flight was plain and simple: white supremacy. Many white people generally and wholeheartedly believe that because of their white skin that they were the superior race. They first resorted to redlining, where banks would not provide black communities loans. Then mortgage discrimination, where banks would give loans to black people to make a profit, then foreclose on their home and repeat the scam. They also use restrictive covenants or gentleman agreements, which stop current or future owners from selling their property to black family. They also use the local court systems to uphold these racist practices. They intimidate black families that tried to buy homes in white neighborhoods. They even committed violence by bombing black homes, and if that did not work, they would resort to murder. And if they could not achieve their goal through these measures, then they would then decide to move on their own accord. Because they felt as a superior race, they could not live side by side with an inferior race. Alright family, I hope you found this information to be helpful. Some of this information comes from the book The Color of Law by Richard Rothstein. So if you want to learn more, certainly pick up a copy. If you haven't already, please smash the like button and subscribe to the page. And as I always say, remember to live your best life.